Welcome to Daily Plunge. We're in the Gospel of John, chapter 7, verses 14 through 36. After his brothers who did not believe in him goaded him to he should make a show of himself, right? Halfway through the festival, he begins to teach in the temple courts, publicly, teaching publicly. And people are amazed at his teaching, and they ask, where did he get this teaching? Because as the synoptic gospels say, he doesn't teach as one of the scribes. In fact, he's not taught as though he's just reciting somebody else's philosophy. He's not taught based on human reason. Instead, he says, my teaching comes from the one who sent me. My teaching comes from God. And you can only perceive if it's from God if you're in the will of God. If you're not in the will of God, you're not going to understand it or perceive it. And he says, the one who speaks on their own is seeking their own glorification, and their teaching is false. I don't speak on my own, Jesus says. I don't speak for my own glorification. I speak on the authority of God the Father, and I'm speaking for his glorification. Therefore, my teaching is true. And I want you to think about that as we look at the philosophies of the world. Do you seek the glory of God in your life and in the things that you learn? Or do you seek your own glorification? And if you're seeking your own glorification, the philosophies you follow are false. Now, going on, he says, Moses gave you the law, but you cannot keep it. And this is in verse 19. And yet you're trying to kill me. And why are they trying to kill Jesus? Because he is outside the law. He came down from heaven. He's not under the law. He's outside the law. Now, he is under the law, as Paul speaks about, because he's baptized for us, and he comes under the law so that he can free us from sin. But Jesus didn't come under the law in order to make us better rule keepers. And that's where he gets at when he starts talking about the Sabbath. He says, you don't have any problem with circumcision, which is the sign of the promise given to the people of Israel, right? It's God's promise. It's the good news. And so when I'm healing somebody on the Sabbath, that's not breaking the law, it's giving the promise. And giving the promise is different than the giving of the law. You and I can't keep the law, but we can receive the promise. Now he goes on, he says, the group is talking amongst themselves. Have the rulers concluded he is the Messiah? Which is an astounding statement. Maybe that's why they want to kill him. Of course, they don't think he's the Messiah, but they are really going to try to kill him. In fact, we hear in John chapter 2 that they begin to think about killing him. John chapter 5, verse 18, John 7, verse 1, John 8, 37 and verse 40, John 12, verse 10. I mean, we know that there is an intent to kill Jesus. And why? You know me, he says. I came from heaven. I come up on the basis of my Father's authority. He sent me. I know him. He knows me. And where I am going, you cannot come. Now, where is it that Jesus is going to go? Jesus is going to go to the cross. He's going to go to the tomb. He's going to go to hell. And then he's going to be resurrected and ascended. And he goes where we don't have to go, because he goes before us so that we can join him in heaven. Thanks, friends. Have a blessed day.